Well, the Mini Miglia series is part of the Mini Sevens Club, and they are currently celebrating their 50th anniversary. Their season, however, 47 seasons deep and enjoying every minute of it. Now, Shane Deegan has won 7 out of the 8 races, so he is certainly looking strong for the championship.
And it's Shane Deegan who is going to line up from pole position. He shares the front row with Rupert Death. Then row 2, the black car of Aaron Smith, and the pink and blue entry of Damon Aston. Row 3, Robert Howard and Dan Wheeler. Then James Coulson and Sam Summerhays on row 4. Tristan Knight and Mark Sims completing the top 10. Watch the progress of Kane Aston from the very back of the grid. So the cars coming into formation now. 2x2 standing start here, of course, at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. And the Indy Circuit always lends itself perfectly to excellent racing from the Dunlop Mini Miglia Challenge. This, one of the perennial categories of mini racing, extremely popular and also extremely specialised as well. These drivers are at the very top of their game. A couple of gaps a little bit further down the grid, but Aston rolls into place now, so we get the green flag from the marshal, the rear of the field. Eyes the gantry time, waiting for the signal to get going. 20 minutes ahead of us here at Brands Hatch, as they are held for a bit of a period, waiting to go. Now they're off, and it's a great start from pole position from Shane Deegan. Also well away is Damon Aston, and Aston looking to try and jump the silver car Rupert Death as they head in towards Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. They swing down through the right-hander and immediately start climbing up Halewood Hill towards Druids. Field fanning out behind, but Deegan already trying to stretch his legs at the front of the pack. Everybody cleanly through. It's not been a brilliant start for Aaron Smith, has it? He's dropped some way down the field. May have picked up some sort of mechanical issue, as others jostling for position. Tristan Knight just holding place through Graham Hill Bend. Oh, and a problem behind. Somebody has gone around. He should rejoin. They're just at the exit of Graham Hill Bend. Robert Howard as the rest of them swing through Surtees and then pick up pace coming out of Clearways and Clark Curve onto the Brabham Straight to complete the lap. And even in these Mini Miglias, you don't get a second's rest here around Brands Hatch. So into Paddock Hill Bend they come, swooping downhill. Great scrap beginning to form up already. Tristan Knight in the middle of it as Shane Deegan tries to break away. Then we've got Rupert Death and Damon Aston disputing second place. Dan Wheeler in 4th. Tristan Knight just about to be demoted, or is he? And that's Dave Drew, who's made an excellent start in the white car, but Drew left to the outside track through Graham Hill Bend. He might look for a brief switch back along the Cooper Straight. Been doing Milliers around the circuit. Average lap speed of just shy of 80 miles an hour. Gives you an indication of the sort of performance the drivers have got at their disposal. So the fight for second along the Brabham Straight. Now, Damon Aston doesn't seem to be quite close enough here to Rupert Death. There's about 2 car lengths between the pair of them as they tip downhill through Paddock Hill Bend now. Almost up onto 3 wheels there for Death. As he picks up the throttle, climbing up towards Druids into the hairpin. Already there stretching well clear of Dan Wheeler in 4th place. Wheeler's just broken away as well from the group of cars behind that. It's a nice battle still headed by Tristan Knight, but he's really having to get his elbows out. Sam Summerhays also looking to join in the queue now behind Dave Drew, and also making very good progress from the back of the grid is Kane Aston. He's joined into that group as well. Knight is going to have a very long 20 minutes, one would suspect, as Aston kicks the car sideways. He's going to try and look to get the run on James Coulson, who is the penultimate car in the train, as they head on to the Brabham Straight. Dave Drew's also got a good run here on Tristan Knight, but Knight hugs the inside of the road. He's going to make Dave Drew do this the hard way. Drew draws the outside, but Knight is perfectly positioned, so nothing doing. But now Drew might get the overlap coming up the inside towards Druids, and he should be able to sneak through. Sam Summerhays, meanwhile, defends from James Coulson as Drew looks to finally make that move stick into Graham Hill Bend. Coulson still pressurises Summerhays, but Coulson's slow out of Graham Hill Bend as a result, and Kane Aston should slip through here en route to Surtees. Indeed he does. It's the white car of Kane Aston, shifts to the inside. His next target is Sam Summerhays. And of course, as they are all busy battling, it is allowing Dan Wheeler to escape somewhat in fourth place in the leading trio. Well clear. Shane Deegan remains the race leader and is in pretty comfortable command of proceedings. On towards Paddock Hill Bend once more. Coulson looking to try and fight back on Kane Aston, while Dave Drew has set off in pursuit of Dan Wheeler and doing a very good job, in fact, of closing that gap down. So we might yet see this train starting to form for fourth place, because an element of racing, of course, in the Dunlop Miglia Challenge is using the toe, using the tactics. Meanwhile, Jim Burrows has got Bob Humphries right behind him. They're battling a little bit lower down the order. Returning to the fight for second place then, and it remains Rupert Death, who is clear of Damon Aston. And Aston, for all of his effort, and you can see the car squirming around on the brakes, still hasn't really been able to chase down Rupert Death, has he? So that is going to be a challenge for Aston over the remainder of the race. Meanwhile, Dan Wheeler has been caught now. He's been caught very quickly by Dave Drew. So the fight for fourth is as close as we've seen so far in the race. Then we've got this gap back to Tristan Knight, who's suddenly with a cork in the bottle. A good first lap for Knight has given him great track position, but he's maybe not got the race pace. So the fight for fourth, the two cars almost as one as they accelerate out of Clark Curve onto the Bradham Straight and on towards Paddock Hill Bend. Meanwhile, Sam Summerhays looks to line up the move on Tristan Knight, and he gets his nose in front, and Summerhays gains the place, and Kane Aston might also gain some ground here. Aston looks to the outside, will then try to tighten through Paddock, draw alongside up to Druids. He's going to be thwarted here somewhat by Summerhays having a little bit of a wobble as well as he came out of Paddock, and so they're all bunching up on each other. They stay as they were. Aston, again, you get the sense he's got the pace, but can he get the track position, particularly with the second of the blue cars, James Coulson, bobbing and weaving behind his tail into Surtees. He just rides the curb, pushes the Mini as hard as he dares. Likewise for Dan Wheeler, he has got Dave Drew asking all the right questions. Along the Bradham Straight, Paddock Hill Bend arriving very, very quickly for this group of cars. Still not yet at half race distance, so they've got plenty of time to sort this out. Although Dave Drew just probing Wheeler as he climbs up to Druids, then thinks about launching a bit to the outside line. The car snaps away from him, and the reason why he's pushing, you can see, is that Sam Summerhays, working with that group behind, is slowly bringing the gap down to Dan Wheeler, and as soon as Dave Drew's mirrors are filled with the rest of the train, that makes his pursuit of Wheeler that little bit harder. So for Dave Drew, he knows he's probably got a week or so to try and make this move where he's got the benefit of being able to try something without the risk of losing a position. Thereafter it becomes a lot more tactical. It means that Drew hugs the inside line at clearways, tries to get every single ounce of pace as he comes out of Clark Curve, down the Bradham Straight. But Summerhays already in Drew's tail, and Sam Summerhays looks to the outside of Dave Drew as they get on the brakes for Paddock. Again, Drew just moves the car around, squirms on the brakes, holds position. Again, quick on the exit of Paddock, looks to challenge up to Druids. All the way through Dave Drew, but this train of cars, 6 strong, all fighting over fourth place. Shane Deegan continues to be the race leader from Rupert Death and Damon Aston. That order relatively well set, the rest of it certainly isn't. As they turn into Surtees once more, these laps being reeled off with dizzying rapidity. 54.8 is the best that's been set by Shane Deegan. Problems behind, that's Jim Burrows. A bit of a sideways moment up at Druids. Meanwhile, a challenge from Aston. He tried to look to the inside of Tristan Knight. Knight, though, holds his line as Dave Drew now pulls the pin. He gets the move done on Dan Wheeler. Wheeler hesitating coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. Dave Drew snapping through. Kane Aston also trying to overtake half the group around the outside at Druids, but he's been able to make the move on Tristan Knight. Attempted to do exactly the same to Sam Summerhays, but he couldn't quite pull it off. So now that Dave Drew is into fourth, will he be able to romp clear? Meanwhile, Knight looks to fight back to the inside of Kane Aston into Surtees and actually pulls the move off. It's a good move from Tristan Knight. Still has to regroup, replot. As James Coulson also looking to join in and challenge. They've also got Mark Sims tucked up behind them as well. This group of cars hurtles on the Bramham Straight. They're busy fighting for fifth. Here is the race leader, Shane Deegan. Deegan well clear of Rupert Death. Death just beginning to buy himself a little bit of leeway over Damon Aston. Meanwhile, Sam Summerhays challenges the outside down Wheeler into Druids. Oh, a little bit of contact between them, and it's Wheeler who loses out. He bumps on the suspension. Tristan Knight's going to get back past him. Kane Aston thinking about it, couldn't quite do it. So now we've got this sprint along the Cooper Straight into Surtees. Swinging in to Clearways. And this is Miglia racing at its very, very best. This group of cars all running in close contention with each other, taking advantage of the slipstream, thinking several corners ahead, and that's really the key. The laps are so quick here on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. You have to plot your move almost a lap before you pull it off. Start to position your car appropriately, but it's through Paddock Hill Bend where Dan Wheeler's just been a little bit hesitant, and again he doesn't come out quite as quickly as Kane Aston. It gives Aston the chance to challenge around Druids. Great move from Aston. He saw the opportunity. He's going to seal it, he hopes, into Graham Hill Bend. Wheeler tries to shut the door. Kane Aston looks to pry it open. That's actually very well defended from Dan Wheeler. It's not done just yet because he was a little bit offline through Graham Hill Bend. Out of necessity, but it does mean it wasn't quite as quick onto the Cooper Straight. Well, Tristan Knight coming back at Sam Summerhays. This battle ebbing and flowing. James Coulson has been dispatched from the back of it as the pace just starting to wind up as we head towards the second half of the race. And Aston, you can sense his frustration. He's right there in terms of pace, but he's got some queue of cars to fight his way past. And now that Dave Drew in fourth is easing away from Sam Summerhays, it's ever more frustrating. Again, Aston looks for that outside track at Druids. Again, he gets his nose in front, and this time you could say decisively, because he pulls it off, as Tristan Knight also able to elevate himself past Sam Summerhays. But then Aston runs wide at Graham Hill Bend. Dan Wheeler will look to retaliate with immediate effect, and is successfully getting through. They are now joined by Mark Sims. Sims having found his way past James Coulson. In a blink of an eye, the positions all switch and swap around. This is the absolute beauty of Miglia racing. These cars so evenly matched. All it takes is one blink, one hesitation, and suddenly everything starts to change. Coulson looks to the inside of Sims, regains the place. That was late on the brakes from James Coulson, and Mark Sims, I think, thought things too with that. I'll just let him through. Meanwhile, a little bit of trim hanging off Dan Wheeler's car. It's probably from the contact a few moments ago. So Kane Aston, for about the sixth lap in succession, tries to find his way past Dan Wheeler. Wheeler, though, proving to be a opponent for the time being. Do for him as Sims and Coulson trying to stay with them. Meanwhile, the fight for second has rejoined once more. Shane Deegan, our race leader, romping clear amongst the traffic. Then we've got Rupert Death from Damon Aston, and this has been really the story of this battle, is that Aston, with the toe, can close up to Rupert Death. He just can't probe through the corners. The gap starts to open up between them once more. So a pair of them swing into Graham Hill Bend. Meanwhile, the fight arrives into Druids. It's a three-way wide fight as they head out of the hairpin. Sam Summerhays doesn't really know where to place his car as Dow Wheeler gets a run to the inside of Tristan Knight and goes through. There's a gap there that Kane Aston tries to follow through and he can't quite do it, and he slides sideways. It's going to give James Coulson now the chance to join in as well. So some absolutely fantastic dicing. Aston looks to the inside of Knight. Wheeler looks to challenge Sam Summerhays, and Summerhays punches that hole in the air along the Brabham Straight. The entire left-hand side trim of Dan Wheeler's car is in the process of making a bid for freedom, as Aston has a little bit of a snap on the brakes. Wheeler looks inside Sam Summerhays coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. He's going to go through. Tristan Knight may also make this move stick. He can't quite do it. It opens the door ever so slightly for Kane Aston, who goes around the outside of Knight as Knight attacked Summerhays. Gave Aston the chance to carry this pace out of Druid, so Kane Aston gains the position. They're all still bottled up behind Dan Wheeler in this fight for fifth. Quartet Shane Deegan, Rupert Teeth, Damon Aston and Dave Drew. Well, that is relatively settled. He's only got time probably for 3 or 4 more laps as Aston looks to try and line up the move here on Sam Summerhays. This for 6th place. Kane Aston looks to challenge to the outside of Paddock Hill Bend, will then tighten through the right-hander. Allows them to close on Summerhays as they climb up towards Druids. Aston draws alongside Summerhays and in fact goes past him. That's a great move from Kane Aston because he signposted that through Paddock and Summerhays defended to the inside line. Aston, though, asking a little bit too much of the car through Graham Hill Bend. That will give Summerhays maybe the chance to try and poke back to the inside along the Cooper Straight, and Summerhays draws alongside Aston, slams the door shut, swoops through the left-hander and then keeps it tight into the right at Clearways. Then we'll accelerate on out of Clark Curve. This is getting fairly deep into proceedings and Summerhays isn't going to have too many opportunities now to try and fight back and reclaim that 6th place from Kane Aston. For Aston, his next target is down Wheeler, but Wheeler may be a little bit too far up the road. Wheeler, as you can see, one of the pieces of trim has now detached itself to go to a Marshall souvenir collection. The other is very close to so doing. Meanwhile, James Coulson and Mark Sims continuing their tussle over 9th and 10th place. Been a great race-long battle between the pair of them. And it's now currently Sims who has just about put his nose in front into Surtees and towards Clearways. Here is Shane Deegan. I've seen an awful lot of Deegan, but he has been soft in the case so far in 2016, being the dominant performer. Aston tries to close up on to Dan Wheeler. Can he wrestle 5th place way late on? Can Sam Summerhays reclaim that 6th position? That is the question as they run downhill through the bottom of Paddock Hill Bend, then climb up towards Druids. Tristan Knight has been in the thick of the action throughout the course of the race. They've got a little bit of traffic as well. That's Bob Humphreys, who is caught in the middle there as Wheeler and Aston go either side of him, but no change in the order, thankfully. There's Drew in 4th, Wheeler in 5th, Aston now right with him in 6th. He's brought Sam Summerhays with him for company as well. As the group of cars slide their way into Clearways, then out of Clark Curve along the Brabham Straight towards Paddock Hill Bend once more, and it's Summerhays who's got the benefit of the tow here behind Kane Aston. Looks to the outside track alongside Aston, but he can't find a way through. And Aston has been formidable throughout Paddock Hill Bend through the course of the race, this time round being no exception to that, so the order remains very much as it was. Through Druids, down towards the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend, the race clock ticking ever steadily downwards. Can Aston find something in the latter stage of the race. It's not going to be close enough to challenge down Wheeler through Surtees and clearways. Meanwhile, Shane Deegan marches onward. Deegan's just been in perfect control of the race. Aston trying to line up something on down Wheeler, and Wheeler being prodded along here is now into the toe behind Dave Drew. So there could be a little bit more here for Dan Wheeler, but for Shane Deegan it's now the run through to the flag. He converted pole position and thereafter has been unheaded as he swings through clearways for the final time of asking, accelerates out of Clark Curve. He could pretty much coast home from here. His lead is just shy of 10 seconds as Deegan wiggles around. He celebrates victory in the Dunlop Miglia Challenge at the Brands Hatch Mini Festival. Second place will go the way of Rupert Death from Damon Aston, but it's all about fight for fourth, which is going to go right through to the flag. Dave Drew seems to have just enough in hand, but Dan Wheeler might be under threat here from Kane Aston. Aston gets the run as they climb ever so slightly out of Clark Curve along the Brabham Straight, but fourth place is secured for Drew, fifth for Wheeler, and Kane Aston completes the top six. So an excellent race claimed by Shane Deegan from Rupert Death and Damon Aston.
Shane, well, congratulations. As they were saying, normal service resumed and back on the top spot.
Yeah, another race win. That's 8 out of 10 now, so the season is going fantastic. We had a bit of a incident yesterday at turn 2 at Druids, but we put that behind us. Looked into today and controlled the race. It was a difficult race. Halfway round, someone blew up, and I think I was the first one round, so I was the first one on the oil. It's just difficult to see where it was. The car was sliding all over the place, but I think it's the same for everyone. So after that, the lap times were a lot slower. It's just about taking the car home and being careful.
Rupert bringing home second place. You had a bit of company, but it was a nice, easy ride.
Yeah, no, good race. Shane just went away, and I had Damon hot on my heels, and I thought any time he's going to be making a move, because he's got a slightly bigger engine than what we run. He's got a 1380, and he also has got the limited slip diff. And I thought, he'll have me round paddock, he'll get on the inside of me and up towards Druids, he'll have me. And I was just waiting for him. And then when the oil went down, I started taking a wider line, and I got away from him at one point, and then we came into paddock, and luckily for me, there's a back marker there, and he got in the way of Damon, so that gave me a little bit more room to breathe, and they brought it home in second.
Damon, well, a third place finish. There's a lot of action behind you, but you managed to stay clear of it.
Yeah, definitely. It was really interesting. Like I say, when Rupert just said, when the oil went down, it was because I run a slip diff, my wheels obviously rotate slightly different, but it grips and then it throws me off one way, throws me off the other way. We caught up with the back marker, which caused a bit of a problem for me, but I was looking to get Rupert on the last couple of laps. That was my plan. My game plan was last couple of laps, either here or down at the end there. But very enjoyable, really enjoyable.